Have you ever walked into a place and, without knowing why, felt a strange heaviness in the air, as if something invisible was quietly draining your energy? That feeling isn't a coincidence. It's a sign, a silent warning that something is lurking, more common than most people realize. Envy. It doesn't knock. It doesn't announce itself. It just slips in, and once it's in, it can make you sick, drive people away, cause things to break, and chill the warmth in your home. Your plants start dying for no clear reason. Your relationships suddenly feel tense. Money disappears, plans stall, and even your motivation starts to fade. Everything feels heavier, and the worst part? Often it doesn't come from an obvious enemy, but from someone who smiles, hugs you, and asks how you're doing. Envy is one of the quietest, most dangerous forms of energetic sabotage. It feeds on what you love most: your home, your dreams, your wins. But what if I told you there are simple, powerful, and affordable ways to build a shield around yourself? Everyday objects, ones you probably already have at home, that can act like true guardians of your energy. This isn't about empty mysticism or cheap superstition. This is about real protection, about ancient practices that have stood the test of time because they work. You'll see how items like salt, mirrors, bay leaves, and even a simple houseplant can completely transform the energy field in your home. And more importantly, why these everyday things, as ordinary as they seem, carry an almost magical strength. But first, stop and think. How many times have you been set up for success only for something to fall apart at the last minute? Maybe it wasn't bad luck. Maybe you were just unprotected. And tell me in the comments, have you ever felt like someone was quietly jealous of you? Lived through something that seemed impossible to explain, but now makes sense? Sharing might not only help you, it might be a wake-up call for someone else who doesn't yet realize they're being affected. Envy doesn't need words. It shows itself in silence, in the lingering stares, in the crooked smiles, and the most dangerous part, it can come from the very people you'd never suspect. Picture this. You wake up already tired, like you never slept. The day drags. Little arguments pop up out of nowhere. Even simple tasks start going wrong. Your laptop freezes, traffic is jammed, and your paycheck seems to vanish into thin air. You feel like you're trying, but something keeps pulling you back. That something has a name: envy. It doesn't come as a direct attack. It seeps into the space around you. It changes the vibration of your home. It makes the air feel heavy, stagnant. You walk into your bedroom and it feels off. Plants that once thrived start to wilt for no reason. Guests leave behind a strange, lingering heaviness, and you can feel it even if you can't explain it. And this influence isn't just energetic, it's emotional. People on the receiving end of envy often become more insecure, more anxious, more vulnerable. They start doubting themselves, even when the results are in front of them, because envy works like an emotional virus. It slips in unnoticed and weakens you from the inside. It can also create distance. Friendships fade. Couples argue. Opportunities disappear. As if something invisible is slowly undoing everything you worked so hard to build. How many times have you thought, why does everything start well but end badly? Or, Why is it that whenever I share good news, something goes wrong right after? These are the fingerprints of envy, and they multiply when there's no protection in place. You may not see it, but I'm sure you've felt it, because at some point everyone has. And that's the real problem. If you don't take it seriously, you're basically leaving the door wide open for someone else's energy to quietly dismantle everything you've built. There's a subtle feeling that few people can name, but everyone has experienced. That quiet unease of feeling exposed, vulnerable, like something invisible is watching, draining, slowly taking apart what you've worked for. What causes it? Envy, other people's energy, misdirected at you. And the most dangerous thing is ignoring the fact that you can protect yourself. The good news? Protection exists, and it's much simpler and much older than you think. You don't need expensive charms. You don't need some secret ritual or words you can't pronounce. What you need is probably already around you, in your pantry, your garden, that forgotten kitchen drawer. Because true protection is quiet, symbolic, and deeply energetic. Think about salt. Ever wonder why it's been part of cleansing rituals for centuries, in kitchens from your grandmothers to the homesteads of pioneers? Salt is pure mineral. It carries the memory of the earth. It's dense, absorbent, and has carried an ancestral meaning of cleansing for generations in cultures around the world. When you place a small dish of salt in the corners of your home, you're not just decorating. You're drawing energetic boundaries. You're saying, not here. Only what belongs to me comes through this space. Now, imagine a mirror, not as a decorative accent, but as a guardian. Mirrors reflect, mirrors return. And when placed near doors or windows, they do exactly that with any unwanted energy trying to enter. They send it right back to where it came from. A reflection that doesn't lie, doesn't negotiate. It simply returns what isn't yours to carry. And what about plants? Sage, aloe vera, rosemary. These aren't just greenery. They're sentinels, quiet soldiers that absorb and filter what you can't see. If a healthy plant suddenly begins to wilt, understand this. It sensed something before you did. Why does all of this work? Because humans are wired to respond to symbols. Since the dawn of time, our minds have been shaped by images and meaning. An object, when charged with intention, becomes more than just matter. It becomes a psychological anchor, a daily reminder that you are in control. And here's where one of the most powerful principles in human psychology comes in. The mind believes what you reinforce over and over again. If you keep reinforcing the idea that you're unprotected, everything around you will confirm it. But if you create an environment where every object carries protection, care, and intention, your mind starts to work for your safety, and the world responds. This subtle kind of protection triggers an identity shift. You stop being the victim. You become the protector. And when that happens, something changes inside. You stop feeling fear, and you start feeling power. Now pay attention to this. Have you ever felt a deep, unshakable sense of peace the moment you walked into certain places? That unexplainable calm, as if everything was just right? It's because that space is protected. It's energetically aligned. On the flip side, You've also walked into places where everything felt off. The air felt stale. The tension was almost invisible, but you could feel it in your bones. That's not a coincidence. That's a disorganized energy field. It's a buildup of negative charge. It's an accumulation of poorly directed thoughts. But what if your home could be a temple? A place where you recharge, protect, and strengthen yourself every single day. With simple objects, with powerful intentions, with practices that don't require blind faith, just awareness. In the next few minutes, you'll discover one by one what these objects are, how to use them, where to place them, and why they work. But before we go any further, take a deep breath. Look around you. Is your home truly protected or just pretty? Because what really protects you isn't what your eyes see. It's what the energy feels. Before science, before organized religion, before written words, humans already knew they needed protection from the cold, from predators, from enemies, but also from something invisible, something they could sense but didn't yet have a name for. Envy, bad energy, the evil eye. These existed long before the terms themselves, and the ancient answer to all of it was always the same. Protect yourself with what nature provides. Picture a woman hundreds of years ago in a small rural town. She lives with her family in a modest wooden cabin. She doesn't have access to doctors, therapists, or modern comforts, but she knows, from wisdom passed down through generations, that a bay leaf tucked above the doorway keeps envy out. That coarse salt in the corners of the floor stops unwanted energy from lingering after visitors leave. That the mirror by the door isn't just for checking her hair. It's a shield. This wasn't superstition. It was emotional survival. Each of these objects has deep roots in traditions across the world. Salt, for example, has been used in purification rituals from ancient Egypt to Japan, from Greece to Native American ceremonies, always with the same purpose: to cleanse, neutralize, and block. Salt is dry. Director, it doesn't absorb emotions. It cancels them out. It's been scattered around homes, placed in bowls behind doors, dissolved in bath water. No matter the culture, the symbol was the same. Mirrors, in many cultures, were seen as windows to other realms, but also as weapons. In ancient China, mirrors were used to reflect negative energy and keep away harmful spirits. Some believed a mirror didn't just block an attack. It sent it back to the sender, as if saying, "You tried to harm me, but ended up facing yourself." And then there are plants like rue or sage, strong, aromatic, protective. In the Mediterranean, the Americas, and Africa, they've been grown near entryways. When someone with heavy energy approached, the plant would wither. A natural alarm system. No one questioned it, because it was visible, tangible. A plant protecting its people, and it doesn't stop there. Bay leaves, now so common in our kitchens, were once sacred to the Romans. Priests wore them as crowns during ceremonies, not for style, but for spiritual protection. They symbolized victory, not just over physical enemies, but over invisible forces. And the horseshoe, often hung above a doorway, open end facing up, has Celtic and medieval roots. It was believed that iron repelled negative entities, and the U shape kept good luck from spilling out. Here's what's fascinating. Cultures separated by oceans, languages, and centuries arrived at the same protective practices. That doesn't happen by accident. It happens because something works. Why do these stories resonate so deeply with us? Because our collective unconscious recognizes these symbols. They awaken memories that don't just belong to us. They belong to our lineage, to our grandmother, to her mother, and to all the men and women who, even without naming what they felt, knew how to protect themselves. When you use these objects today, you're not just decorating your home. You're reactivating an ancestral network of wisdom. You're saying, I continue the line. You're tapping into knowledge that has survived the centuries, because truth doesn't need an explanation. It's something you feel. And when you walk into a home that carries that awareness, you can sense it. Something there feels right, safe, untouchable. That's why what comes next isn't just a list of items. It's a map, a code of protection, a legacy that's now being placed in your hands. Get ready to learn in detail how to use each object, why it works, and where to place it to safeguard your home and your energy. Because protection isn't luck, it's a choice. Now that you understand the symbolic and ancestral power behind these objects, it's time to put them into action. Each one will become more than an accessory. It will become an extension of your intention, a conscious choice to protect. Write it down, visualize it, and, most importantly, feel it. Because more than the object itself, it's your energetic presence that activates it. 1. Coarse salt. Purpose: neutralizes energy. How to use: place small bowls of coarse salt in the corners of rooms, especially near doors and windows. Change the salt every 7 days. If it darkens or hardens, it's absorbed a lot of energy. That's protection in action. Extra tip: for personal protection, dissolve coarse salt in warm water and pour it over your body from the shoulders down, followed by a rinse with calming herbs like rosemary or chamomile. 2. Mirrors. Purpose: reflect negative energy back to its source. How to use: hang a small outward-facing mirror above your main door. It stops envy and negativity from entering with visitors. Warning: never place a mirror directly facing your bed. It can cause restless sleep and mental agitation. 3. Bay leaves. Purpose: attracts protection, clarity, and wards off bad intentions. How to use: keep 3 bay leaves in your wallet, under your pillow, or behind the front door. Burn a bay leaf in a fire-safe dish to clear stagnant energy. The scent breaks the negative cycle. Quick ritual: write the word protection on a bay leaf and carry it with you. 4 cloves. Purpose: repels heavy energy and unwanted thoughts directed at you. How to use: place a handful of cloves in a glass with alcohol or vinegar and set it behind your front door. This creates an energetic barrier. Extra tip: the aroma also calms and balances emotions. Cinquium cactus. Purpose: filters and traps negative energy. How to use: position cacti near your home's entrance or by windows. They're like quiet guardians, sturdy, discreet, effective. Important: take good care of them. A sick cactus may be a sign of heavy energetic load in your space. 6. Horseshoe. Purpose: protection and good fortune. How to use: hang a horseshoe above your front door with the ends pointing upward, forming a U. This symbolizes a cup of luck, that stays full, keeping good energy in. Ritual. Rub the horseshoe with coarse salt before hanging it to activate its symbolic function. 7th red ribbon. Purpose. Blocks envious stares and shields your personal energy field. How to use? Tie a red ribbon around your left wrist or on the doorknob of your main entrance. On your wrist, it works as a direct barrier. On your door, as an energy filter. Fun fact, this practice has been used for centuries across different cultures, including Jewish mysticism, Kabbalah. 8. Wind chimes or bells. Purpose. Breaks up stagnant energy. How to use: hang wind chimes near your front door or close to a window. Their gentle sound keeps energy moving and discourages negative vibrations from lingering. Emotional tip. That sound also serves as a subtle reminder that you're protected, like an audible signal of safety. 9. Lemon with cloves. Purpose. Double protection. The lemon absorbs, the cloves repel. How to use: press 9 whole cloves into a fresh lemon and place it in a space where you feel the most tension or instability. Replace it once it starts to shrivel. Note: this trick is often used in busy workplaces or high-traffic living spaces. 10. Garlic. Purpose. Wards off envy and negative intentions. A symbol with very old roots. How to use: hang a whole garlic bulb in your kitchen or place 3 cloves under your pillow overnight for personal protection. Extra tip. If the garlic turns dark quickly, throw it away and replace it. It's absorbed more than it should. 11th owl figurine or statue. Purpose. Protective wisdom. A silent guardian. How to use: place an owl figure near your home's entrance, facing outward toward anyone who arrives. It represents the watchful eye that sees what you can't. Deeper meaning, it guards against what's hidden from plain sight. 12th. White chalk line. Purpose. Creates an energetic boundary. How to use: draw a chalk circle around your bed, temporarily, or a continuous line just inside your front door. It's an energetic stop sign for unwanted influences. Emotional reinforcement. This practice activates the boundary archetype. Where there's a clear limit, there's protection. These items may be simple, but when used intentionally, they become powerful allies. They signal to your environment and to yourself that there is awareness here, that this is a cared-for space, a protected space. And now that you know how, the only thing left is why. In the final part, you'll understand why this transforms more than just your home. It transforms your life. Signs your home may be energetically unprotected. Negativity doesn't usually show up kicking and screaming. Most of the time it seeps in quietly like a hidden leak. Slowly it spreads, takes up space, hides in corners, and by the time you notice, something already feels off. So, what changes when your home is energetically vulnerable? The answer lies in the subtle signs most people ignore, but your mind and body have already picked up on them. 1. Feeling a heaviness when you walk in. Ever walked into your house and instead of feeling relief, you felt tired? The air feels denser, your breathing shifts like something's pressing down on you. This is often one of the first signs. The space isn't energetically clear. Stagnant, built-up energy shows up as heaviness in both your body and your mind. Sometimes You leave for work with more energy than when you come home. 2. Restless sleep or insomnia. Sleep is sacred. It's when you recharge your emotional and physical batteries. But when a home is loaded with heavy energy, that process gets scrambled. You wake up in the middle of the night for no reason, have unsettling dreams, or feel more tired in the morning than when you went to bed. That's because your energy field stays on high alert even when your body tries to rest. 3. Objects breaking out of nowhere. Glasses sliding off counters, light bulbs burning out often, electronics glitching for no clear reason. It might seem random until you notice a pattern. These can be physical signs of energetic overload in the space. It's your home's way of saying, something's not right here. 4. Frequent arguments and mood swings. People who are usually calm start snapping over small things. The atmosphere feels tense. Everything turns into a conflict. This isn't just stress. An unprotected home can amplify negative emotions, turning small annoyances into blow-ups. It's like the space itself pushes things out of balance. 5. Plants dying without explanation. You water them, give them sunlight, and they still wilt. And it's not just one plant. It happens over and over. This isn't about having a black thumb. Plants are natural energy sensors. They absorb vibrations from the space, and when they die quickly, they're often taking in a heavy load that would otherwise be directed at you. 6. Guests who arrive happy and leave different. Pay attention. Ever had a friend stop by in great spirits but leave acting off? Or maybe a light-hearted conversation suddenly turned tense for no reason. That's often a sign of heavy energy in the space. It doesn't just affect you, it affects anyone who steps inside. 7. That constant feeling of being stuck. Projects stall. Money slips through your fingers. Great ideas never get off the ground. You're doing the work, putting in the effort, but it's like something unseen keeps pulling you back. When the energy in your home is blocked, life itself starts to feel blocked. 8. Frequent chills or strong gut feelings. You're home alone and suddenly feel like someone's there. Goosebumps without a breeze, a gut level knowing that something's off. This isn't paranoia. It's your intuitive radar picking up what your eyes can't see, trying to keep you safe from unseen interference. 9. Losing motivation inside your own home. Out in the world, you're productive and driven. But the second you walk through your door, it's like someone pulled the plug. You feel unmotivated, unfocused, heavy. This isn't laziness. It's stagnant energy draining your life force. Your home should recharge you, not wear you down. 10. The feeling of being watched or weighed down. This one's intense. You're in your house alone, but you swear you're not alone. Or you feel inexplicably exhausted whenever you enter certain rooms, like something invisible is pulling you down. It's not always paranormal. Sometimes it's simply dense energies that's been sitting there, fueled by envy, negativity, or a lack of energetic cleansing. The truth is, your home is talking to you all the time. The problem? No one ever taught us how to listen. Now that you know the signs, you can act with intention. And using the objects I showed you earlier, you can restore balance. But it all starts with awareness and with a choice to stop ignoring the invisible. In our final segment, we're going to wrap this up with a clear message. Protection isn't paranoia. It's responsibility. And it's also freedom. You no longer have to brush off the signs, or pretend everything's fine when deep down you know it's not. Envy is real. Negative energy moves through spaces, but now you know you're not powerless. You have tools, you have knowledge, and most importantly, you have the authority to protect what's yours. Every single item we've talked about, salt, mirrors, bay leaves, cloves, cactus, lemon, garlic, hold centuries of distilled wisdom. Yes, they're symbols, but they're also tangible reminders that you're actively caring for your space, your peace, your life. Your home is a reflection of your energy. Protecting your energy means protecting your mind, your relationships, your finances, your health, your very essence. You can keep leaving all of that exposed, or you can take control with simple but powerful actions. Here's my invitation. Drop a comment and share which of these signs you've noticed in your own home. Or tell us if you've ever used one of these objects and what you felt. Your story might open someone else's eyes, someone who's been living under an influence they didn't even know had a name. This space is yours. Your story matters. And when you share, you strengthen the energy field of everyone here with you. If this video spoke to you in any way, like it, leave a comment, and send it to someone who needs to hear it today. Because they might be fighting in silence against an energy they didn't know they could defeat. You are not alone, and now you are protected.